Descartes' Meditation 6 now is concerning the existence of material things. So we're going to find out that we don't have to be idealists. The external physical material world really does, in fact, exist after all. So how does Descartes conclude that this is the case? Once again, Descartes' proof of the existence of God in Meditation 3 is the key here. God is a perfect being. As a perfect being, God cannot be a deceiver. Since God is not a deceiver, the natural faculties that God gave me, my reason, imagination, will, and all of the other faculties that are part of my mental abilities altogether, these must be perfect in kind. Right? They're perfect for what they do, perfect for what I need them for. And so this means that for Descartes, that I must be able to understand and figure out the truth of things by the use of my own human reason, my own God-given human reason. So why does that mean then that the material world must necessarily exist? How can I remove any smattering of doubt that maybe it's all a dream or a hallucination or something infused into my mind by some evil forces like the first meditation, evil deceiver? If I examine the ideas, you think again about that argument in the third meditation for the existence of God. If I examine my ideas, my perceptions of the world, by examining those ideas themselves, I cannot determine where they come from. I have direct access to the ideas in my own mind, but only indirect access to what they may correspond to outside of my mind. So if I perceive a physical object, the dog lying on the couch that I take to be real, if I perceive that, okay, and I believe that that's true, then my perception, the image in my mind, that's directly present to me. That's my mind's own idea. But my belief that there really is a real dog sitting on a real sofa, or lying on a real sofa, that is an inference. So I must have some evidence to get from the idea in my mind that represents the dog to the real dog that I think is there. Now, we saw that with this principle of formal and objective reality that Descartes uses in his proof for the existence of God, that won't get us anywhere with this, right? What could cause that idea of the dog? Of course, the dog could really be there. That could cause the idea of the dog. But I could also be dreaming it. I mean, my mind could have created it without me knowing that my mind was just imagining it. It could be a hallucination. It could be a dream. It could be something like that. Some external force like his evil deceiver could put it in my mind. So just by examining the idea itself, I'm unable to decide what the actual source of that idea is. And this is where the perfection of God comes into play here. Because Descartes says, if I were unable to determine what the source is for real, that is to say, if I were mistaken and it were not really a real dog on a real sofa out there, but one of those other possibilities, and God had not endowed me with the mental ability to detect that mistake, then God would be tantamount to being a deceiver. But God is not a deceiver, and therefore that must not be the case, and therefore since I have this strong inclination to believe that it's the real dog on the real sofa and that there really is an external material world and it's not all a dream or not all something being programmed into my mind by an external force, then that must be in fact really the case. Anything else and that would make God a deceiver, and we know God can't be a deceiver. Therefore, yes indeed, the material world really does exist. Before we leave Descartes, we're going to say just a little bit more about his distinction between mind and body that he has developed throughout the Meditations.